In business news, a young female taxi driver is hoping to break the long-standing bias and stereotypes stopping women from venturing into taxi driving. In international news, scores are killed in southwestern Ghana following a collision between a truck loaded with explosives and a motorbike. In sports news, Gambia's national football team, the Scorpions, defy the odds and make it through to the last 16 of AFCON. We hear how the players and coach reacted. Those were our main headlines. Now the news in detail. Gambian civil society leaders, media house representatives and religious leaders are currently having a consultation with eminent persons and moral guarantors organized by the International IDEA. The purpose of the dialogue is to provide feedback on the value of the Electoral Code of Conduct and to mitigate the risk of electoral violence in the upcoming National Assembly elections. Babukar C has the rest of that story.
International IDEA was selected by the Attorney General and Minister of Justice and the Gambia civil society organizations based on its global comparative expertise on inter-party dialogue and electoral processes, as well as its experience working to support the ongoing Gambian transition. Addressing the gathering, His Excellency Dr. Mohamed Ibn Chambers, an eminent facilitator, began by thanking the CSOs and the media for the role it played in the December presidential elections.
Now, so your role is very, very clear, and we want to commend and appreciate it. During the process, we all know that we set up a group of moral guarantors. And here is also the place to acknowledge the role that the moral guarantors played. And with me here today are the moral guarantors who accompany this process. And I wish formally to thank them and once again to present them to you, civil society, because I know the process is still ongoing and we will need to work with them.
Chambers, however, was quick to add that the world, particularly African countries, were all looking forward to the elections and to see how the country will conduct itself after going through a 5-year transition period.
I don't say this to underestimate the importance of the international observers. Speaking of which, the Gambia maybe set a record, because during these last elections, we had 5 former presidents coming in to observe these elections. I have not seen this number of former presidents, high-level observers, mobilized for a particular election. And so maybe, and in fact, when we met with the political parties, somebody posed that question. Why was this attention to the Gambia? Why was it so important to bring all these observers? Why was the Gambia of such interest?
Ibn Chambers concluded by reminding the media of its roles and responsibilities in preaching and advocating for peace and oneness heading to the legislative elections.
As to the first phase, we need to commend all of you again, civil society actors, political parties, the candidates, the supporters, the people of the Gambia, for giving a good example to the rest of the sub-region and to Africa regarding the conduct of peaceful elections. We always said that at the end of the day, we want the Gambia to be the winner. And also, we want the Gambia to remain the smiling coast of Africa, indeed of the world, which is what has been realized.
The International IDEA hopes that the Code of Conduct signed by all political parties before the presidential elections will be a guiding document and one that can be built on ahead of the legislative elections. Babu Karsi, QTV News.
The regional HIV AIDS coordinator in the West Coast region has revealed that the COVID-19 pandemic has overshadowed HIV AIDS in the Gambia. Jibril Sane was speaking to Fatusi Sanyang, and this is the report.
Statistics in 2020 have shown that there are about 27,000 people living with HIV AIDS in the Gambia. This is quite alarming as the youthful age are mostly affected, ranging from 15 to 49 years. The regional AIDS coordinator, Jibril Sane, tells us more.
As at June 2021, the number of people that are currently in treatment in the program, in the HIV program, is about 2,545 people that are currently enrolled. You know, one might be shocked seeing the huge differences, but these are the data on the ground as far as the program is concerned. And yes, young people are affected.
Mr. Sane reveals that the issue of HIV and AIDS has been neglected, especially with the coming of the COVID-19 pandemic.
As opposed to the layman perspective, that it's always sex that can give someone HIV. Yes, one can contract HIV virus through sex, but what type of sex? Here we're talking about unprotected sex, be it male to female, be it men to men. We are also seeing a surge, you know, within the MSM population. If I say MSM means men having sex with men, this is also something that is coming up. In fact, as of 2018, you have 35% of that population, men having sex with men, being HIV positive. So through unprotected sex, one can have HIV. But we also have some other ways that one can have HIV apart from having unprotected sex. And that is through blood donation, blood transfusion will have. So if you look at also our traditional practices, like tattooing, gum tattooing, and then tattoo on the face, circumcision, you know, these are all ways that people can contract HIV/AIDS virus through sharing of cutting equipments like razor blades, like knives, like circumcision. Of course, you might need a knife or a razor blade. So if you used one razor blade for two people, if one, of course, the former has HIV, it's obvious that the latter is going to be affected. Not many people would get to know, but toothbrush, yeah, I can see you are shocked. Toothbrush could also, you know, serve as a medium of transmitting HIV from one person to another.
Sane further discloses the mode of transmission of the HIV/AIDS virus. HIV means human immunodeficiency virus. The virus attacks the body's immune system, and if HIV is not treated, can lead to AIDS. There is presently no effective cure for AIDS in the Gambia. The testing or medical diagnosis is absolutely free in all public hospitals. As the coronavirus is still battering the globe, people are advised not to only get tested for COVID-19, but also the deadly HIV/AIDS virus. For QTV News, I am Fadusi Sanya.
Since the outbreak of the coronavirus in March of last year, the education sector was among those adversely affected, leading to the closure of schools and other educational institutions. QTV's Lolly M. Kamara visited 2 schools within the KMC to find out how authorities are making up for lost contact hours.
A contact hour represents the measure of scheduled instructional time designed by the Ministry of Education, given to students to serve as a guide during their courses in school. The required contact hour for an academic year is 880. The target was never met due to disruptions caused by the pandemic. Bamba Suso, the headmaster of Bakote Lower Basic School, explained the importance of having required contact hours.
Roughly by month we can say we have about 9 to 10 months in the academic year. When you looked at the number of hours that the regional office, we did partners calculate, will tell you exactly how many hours when schools open up to the time that they close, the number of hours it will take for the schools to be able to cover their school curriculum.
Master Suso also outlined some of the challenges they faced during the last academic year and how much time the school lost as a result.
So a lot of instructional hours were lost. Just imagine, at the least that you should have observed for an academic year is 880 instructional hours. In a normal circumstances, sometimes, you see, we go beyond that, up to 900 hours, you see, for some schools. But our school here, like most other schools, we could not meet even the 880 contact or instructional hours. It was only 564 hours that we were able to meet, meaning a lot of instructional hours were lost.
Momodu Mbub, the headmaster of Sanchaba Lower Basic School, said factors such as school holidays, public holidays, emergencies and water shortages contributed to the loss of contact hours during the last academic year. He explains coping mechanisms adopted by the school authorities.
We organize these Saturday classes or Sundays, or those who are in the morning, instead of breaking at 1:15, we push it up to 1:30. So those in the afternoon also, instead of 6 o'clock, we close at 6:15, just to capture those lost hours within the system.
As government reopens schools after the school break, Mr. Mbub said the school authorities are ensuring that students and teachers are safe by observing the WHO COVID-19 guidelines. He then made this appeal to the Education Ministry.
Our problem is some of the materials supplied to us are almost out of stock. So I'm appealing to the Ministry of Education through the regional office to try and supply some of the schools that are lack of this, protocol COVID materials, like soap, Omo and other stuff.
According to these headmasters, a lot of contact hours were lost during the last academic year, and the advice they give is that parents should be actively involved in the education of their children, because instructional hours cannot only be met within the school learning environment. Because the pandemic remains a threat, these heads of schools are already planning on implementing other measures to regain some of the hours students have lost. For QTV News, Lolly M. Kamara.
We will now go for a commercial break. When we return, we will have some local, business, international and sports news stories. Do stay tuned.
Begin your SUV life. S-Pass Motors, the new authorized dealer for Kia. Visit us today or call us on 3522 222 353 2222.
The GRA, in executing its mandate of collecting revenue for national development in a fair and transparent manner, will recognize and award compliant taxpayers who consistently pay and file their taxes on time and present original and authentic customs documents at the annual Taxpayers Award Ceremony. This year's edition of the Taxpayers Award Ceremony will take place on Saturday, January 29, 2022 at the Keraba Beach Hotel, commencing at 7:30 p.m. The event will be graced by the President of the Republic of the Gambia, His Excellency Mr. Adama Barrow, the executive and members of the business community. The fourth edition of the GRA Taxpayer Award Ceremony, a memorable night, is assured. GRA, collecting revenue for national development.
Welcome back. Here's the latest business news. A young female taxi driver is hoping to break the long-standing bias and stereotypes stopping women from venturing into taxi driving. Jaina Basonko visited her at the Tipo garage and she now reports.
patriarchy and misogyny have made difficult the work of people like Fatou Sane who wish to venture into male-dominated fields. However, Fatou believes someone must change the concept that jobs should be defined by somebody's gender or appearance. An article by The Outlook on Indian women drivers shows that women drivers are often faced with comments like, "If you're driving, I need to check my insurance. Will you be able to reverse the car? And what about parking?" amongst others. "I have been in a vehicle where the car in front was slow and the driver had to ask if it was a woman driving." Fatou Sane told us what keeps her going despite these comments and even worse comments.
I always wanted to be a driver, and I believe that jobs shouldn't be designed for specific people or for specific sex. As long as it's job and it's legal, I can go for it. I have inspired a lot of women who usually tells me they want to be like me, and I wish they could do the same thing I am doing.
We engaged Fatou's co-worker Lamin Sane at the garage, who had positive things to say about her.
Fatou Sane is very hardworking. She is very friendly. Through this job, she supports herself and her family. Although she is married, she can work as a taxi driver. And we all know that people can easily tarnish the name of a woman who is driving a taxi.
We also visited Fatou's family to find out what they think about her decision to venture into such a male-dominated field. We spoke to Mutar Sirifo Sane, Fatou's elder brother.
Driving is not easy, especially for a woman. At first, when she informed me, I told her it's not safe because she is a woman, considering the traffic and driving in Gambia is very rough. I ended up supporting her and she is making it. She is able to save money, help her husband. Sometimes she even gives me money. If she was not working, she wouldn't be able to do all these things.
For Fatou Sane, nothing is stopping her from continuing with what she started. She calls on her fellow women to venture into male-dominated fields to help break the existing norm.
I am calling on women to work because you can't be completely dependent on people. It doesn't last. You don't have to pick and choose when it comes to work. Just work and you will eventually come across what you want.
In African countries like Rwanda and Cape Verde, it's normal to see women taxi drivers. And in these countries, just like in the Gambia, someone like Fatou Sane started the journey. Hopefully, she will inspire other young women and girls who wish to venture into taxi driving to start despite societal bias. Reporting for QTV News, I am Jenna Bosonko.
Now, on to international news. At least 17 people were killed and 59 injured on Thursday after a motorcycle collided with a vehicle carrying explosives near a mining town in southwestern Ghana, which resulted in a devastating explosion, according to officials. Omar P. Jallo takes a closer look at the story, and this is his report.
Footage shows injured bodies of victims lying in the road and locals rushing towards a raging fire and rising trails of black smoke to inspect the damage, where rescue workers paddled through the wreckage for survivors caught in the devastating blast. The country's information minister, Kojo Opong Nkrumah, confirmed 17 dead and that 59 injured people have been rescued, adding that out of 59 people injured, 42 are receiving treatment in hospitals and some are in critical condition. Apiachi, where the explosion occurred, is a small residential community of fewer than 10,000 people, most of whom are farmers and miners. A senior official from the country's disaster management agency told journalists that the small community was almost like a ghost town following the explosion, adding that about 500 households were affected, some of which were completely destroyed. In the initial aftermath of the accident, the local community stepped in as first responders, pulling people and animals from collapsed structures and rushing the wounded to hospitals before ambulances arrived. A team of police and army explosion experts were also deployed to avoid a second explosion and put in place security measures after the blast. Ghanaian President Nana Akufo-Addo called it a true sad, unfortunate and tragic incident. The government said those in critical condition will be moved to hospitals in Accra, and police asked surrounding villages to open their schools and churches to accommodate any additional casualties and urged the public to remain calm as they manage the situation. Ghana has witnessed a series of gas explosions in recent years, with one of the worst blasts killing more than 150 people in the capital Accra in 2015. The explosion occurred as hundreds of residents sought shelter at a gas station from heavy rains. Last October, at least one person was killed and another injured in a gas-related explosion in Accra, and in the same month, 3 people died in another blaze in the country's Asante region, according to a local media report. In this last incident, it is reported that the truck carrying explosive for a mining company overturned after it tried but failed to avoid colliding with a motorbike. The authorities have not ruled out finding more dead and injured as rescue efforts continue. Reporting for KTV News, I am Omar P. Jallo.
In sports news. The Gambia defeated 2004 Africa Cup of Nations champions Tunisia a 0-0 in their final Group F final game. Ablai Jallo's superb strike deep into stoppage time was enough to give the Scorpions victory. Our sports reporter Mamadou Gajaga watched the game and he now reports.
The lowest ranked side in the competition came through the preliminaries before finishing top in the qualifiers in a group including Angola, DR Congo and Gabon. Gambia have gone on to become a revelation in the 2021 AFCON with a statement of being contenders, not just participants. The underdog tag has become a blessing for the West Africans, stinging the Carthage Eagles when it hurt most. Again, Ablai Jallo with a goal deep into stoppage time. Jallo beautifully chested Musa Barrow's fine pass before hitting it with power and called it into the roof of the net. Musa Barrow was earlier denied by the post after his curling shot from a free kick hit the bar. The victory means Gambia finished second in Group F behind Mali on goal difference, with both sides on 7 points, and face Guinea in the round of 16 on Monday. Earlier in the closing stages of the first half, Tunisia had a chance to take the lead from the spot when Pamoudou Diagne caught Jaziri in the box. Baboucar Gueye produced a man-of-the-match performance, serving Jaziri's spot kick, diving to the left to deny the Tunisian. This is how the Scorpions players and coach reacted to the victory, with man-of-the-match winner Baboucar Gueye saying it was a great team play for him.
As a young kid, you start your journey and you always dream of performing on a big stage. And if you hear this anthem on the pitch, you can represent your country, you can make a whole country proud for 90 minutes. It's just amazing, and it's a dream for every kid, and I'm happy that I could fulfill this dream right now.
Alhamdulillah for the chance that I am here representing my country. But coming in, it was something that is very, very, very great for me because I've been having a lot of patience with the team. I knew somehow I'm going to get my chance. So this 6-7 minutes that I got, I was like, this is the time for me to help my country and my team and my friends around here, and also to show the fans that, you know, we are together in this.
For us, it was very important to have a very balanced team, quality players, experienced players, young players, but also some fun makers. We need to live together. If you live long with your wife together, you have some fights, that's possible. And sometimes your wife say, I'm gonna leave you. And if she stays, you're happy and you build further. And that's what we do. We sometimes fight, we discuss, but we laugh a lot and we have fun a lot. And we created a group. The balance of this group is not the best players of Gambia, but the best group of Gambia.
Mamadou Gajaga, QTV News.
The Scorpions of the Gambia on Thursday beat Tunisia 1-0 to secure a place in the round of 16 of the ongoing AFCON in Cameroon. Abdoulaye Jallo's last-minute shot was all that Tom Sanfair and his boys needed to secure qualification to the next round. QTV was out and about to get the reaction of fans in the capital city after the victory. Ajibintu Drame has more.
His first appearance in the AFCON competition, and Tom Sanfair and his charges are proving to the world that the Scorpions are no pushovers. Finishing 7 points against experienced sides like Mauritania, Mali and 2004 winners, Tunisia has sent a wrong warning that the smallest country in mainland Africa is in Cameroon to make a statement. Fans expressed their excitement and surprise by the boys going this far. Simon Diba and Omar Mendy share their thoughts.
Well, thanks to God, I would say thanks to God, Almighty God, for giving us a very good match yesterday. Though it was very difficult for us, but we came out in a victory of last minute. We don't even expect it, because Gambia is a peaceful country, it's a blessed country. We normally surprise of the Gambian. Anyway, the way they played, I love it. The defense and they go, when they have the ball, they go forward.
If you see Gambia, they don't have these big footballers like Sadio Mane or these skaters. So that's why they are belittling Gambia. But now, today, they will see how good the Gambians are. Keep encouraging them because they are doing wonderful. So we are so proud.
Yusuf Sonko says he was very elated and surprised by the Scorpions' performances, particularly the last second's goal.
The first match, when you start this match, no match is match no deme dal. Dama hawana tit dal. Me no mo ñëw mu ceñat affaire bi dal. Do daf ma surprise.
At first, when the match started, I was scared, but the coach surprised everyone by changing his tactics at the end. I was happy. Let the Scorpions play harder and bring the cup home. We have never taken part in this competition. I am praying to God to give us victory. Let us show the world that what they think of Gambia is not true. They think we are not good enough. We leave everything to Allah.
Kodu Juve says she is proud of the boys because they perform surprisingly well. I was excited. We thank God. This never happened before. We never previously qualified for AFCON, but this year, kudos to the Scorpions for a job well done. Even if we stop here, we are happy, but we pray to God that they bring the cup home. We were belittled by others. I am proud of them. God is on our side. The Gambia will now face Guinea on Monday in the round of 16. Guinea's captain and star player, Naby Keita of Liverpool, will miss the game through suspension. Ajibintu Drame, QTV News.
That's all we have for you in this edition of QTV News. Join us tomorrow for more news. Thank you for watching.